Welcome to Full Scope, a podcast designed to analyze the games that we love, headlines and music, and the movies we can't forget. I'm host Winter Burns, my counterpart Savon Morris, the president of the Packers fan club on Cloud 9. He was blowing up Facebook. How's it going?
Y'all must have forgot. Bro, talk about first 7 seed to ever do it, baby. Yeah, go Pack, go. But I'm doing... That's crazy, Wellington. And be your own people. Be your own co-host.
I'm kidding.
Nah, he's not
happy,
kidding.
Man. I was rooting. I was with a group of my friends watching at a restaurant. I was like, my guy Savon is happy. My guy Savon is happy.
Wellington is lying because he predicted the Dallas Cowboys to put up 35 points.
The receipts are all true. I predicted it.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, we have a lot of topics to get into for this one. Obviously, some NFL playoff topics, NBA topics, some out reviews in the second half. We're going to do a review of Friday Night Lights. To start off with the Eagles' playoff loss to Tampa Bay and kind of, what needs to be their offseason move. Philadelphia lost 32-9. Baker Mayfield threw for 337 yards. Also 3 touchdowns, and the Bucs defense never allowed Hurts and the Eagles' offense to really find any rhythm. And, that one drive that Philly had near the end of the first half, it seemed as though they might get something going. Devontae Smith was looking really good, but he was kind of like the only highlight for Philly's offense. To you, what was the most surprising element of this as Tampa Bay just thoroughly outplayed them and Philly looked all out of sorts?
Where was this Baker Mayfield with the Browns or even
exactly
with the Carolina Panthers? I believe
Panthers.
Where was this Baker Mayfield? Because I was high on Baker Mayfield when he was coming out of Oklahoma, and I thought he had all the tangibles, and then he just resulted to hero ball. He averaged an interception a game, and then now people go to Buccaneers just to revive their career or just prove people wrong. I don't think he proved anybody completely wrong, but you're one step closer to doing that, and he played a phenomenal game. And I think missed tackles definitely helped that, bro.
For sure.
This defense looked terrible. This offensive line looked terrible, bro. Their nucleus this entire season, I've been advocating for the freaking Philadelphia Eagles for 7-8 weeks. I'm on their bandwagon because I believe they could turn it around. This is the first time. Yeah, or at least turn it around. And it's playoff time. Exactly. Everybody clicks on a different West Com, and that's receipts too. I said there's going to come around and turn it around, but there's a lot of mistakes, a lot of red flags for this team now that we're seeing them. They're visual because you take into account they overlook certain things because they're getting W's. But this offensive line can't pick up a blitz. They can't block. The running game is non-existent. That was their forte. That was the nucleus of this offense. It wasn't the deep ball threat. It wasn't that. It was the running game, taking the ball out of Jalen Hurts. And then its offensive line, pass block and run block has been non-existent. And it's hard for Jalen Hurts. I don't put that on Jalen Hurts, that game.
I don't.
They couldn't pick up a blitz. Yeah, they couldn't pick up a blitz. It was just missed Bradbury. Oh, my goodness. Oh, retire, bro. Retire. Bradbury, bro, has been getting dusted since he became an All-Pro last year. Hasn't showed up to a game. Missed tackles everywhere. This defense looked trash.
It was like the fundamentals, all the fundamentals they were just missing. They were such a sound team. And even I was watching the Manning cast, and Ray Lewis was saying there are just basics that defenses know and do that they just aren't doing.
Yes.
This is like an individual team, an individual players just trying to do their own thing, but not playing as a collective. Was that another thing that you guys saw? The collective was really missing.
I think so because one, A.J. Brown, who didn't have any confidence in his team to go and beat them so he could come back that week. He deleted all his information off his Instagram, deleted his Twitter, all these things. There was some confusion, no team camaraderie, none of that in this organization. And you can tell, and it translated to the football field finally, because in those times they were still figuring out how to win. But then I don't think when people get back on the ropes, they don't understand what a team mindset will do and will overcome. And the Philadelphia Eagles did not show that. Even with their veteran presence, with Jason Kelce, it just looked like a crap show, bro. From an offensive line standpoint, that was embarrassing. That's embarrassing. That you can't pick up a blitz. You was one of the best offensive lines in the National Football League. And everybody has given you that title, and then you don't show up.
I'm trying to think of another. Jason Kelce, his future. I mean, I wouldn't want to see Jason Kelce's career end like that, losing in a wild card round. He deserves a much more, at least a farther push into the postseason than to go out that way.
To be honest, he didn't play a great game.
Yeah,
Jason Kelce did not play a great game. And I think he's going to retire. I think they're itching for him to retire, but he didn't play a great game. Johnson didn't play a great game. It's a laundry list of players that did not play a great game. And then they have a lot of people they have to re-sign or figure out. It's like 10 of them, from running backs to defensive linemen to wide receivers. And I think at some point, the head coach has to figure some things out. But
do they keep Nick? Do they keep Nick Sirianni?
Absolutely keep Nick. They've been to the playoffs consistently. They won big games. They went to the Super Bowl last year, came up short against a good Chiefs team. He's been consistent. There's some things that needs to be cleaned up fundamental-wise for these grown people, but I think he's a good head coach. Yeah, some things you're gonna sweep some things under the rug that you think you can fix later in the season because you're 10-1. Any head coach is going to do that.
10-1 is like the perfect security blanket. You're like, all right, we'll be good. We'll be good.
Yeah, we can clean these things up later. And I like Shannon Sharp, but some things, bro, okay, Shannon, you a Hall of Famer, 3-time Super Bowl champion.
What did he say?
But some things, he said it's all Sirianni's fault. He needs to go. He needs to, bro, I understand that they were winning and sweeping under the rug, but you can't fix everything. Some things are individual.
Yeah.
He brought the winning nature. He's been to the playoffs every season. Like, what else do you want from a head coach? At some point, there has to be individual accountability. AJ Brown doesn't have it. Jalen Hurts seems like he does at certain points. The offensive line hasn't been highlighted because they had a crap game. Nobody said anything about this offensive line besides Gruden, who backfired with Robert Griffin III.
Yeah.
But nobody said anything about his offensive line. But I digress. Buccaneers capitalized on a lot of tackling mistakes and a lot of errors from that defense. And then the Buccaneers defense really didn't have to do much. They blitzed. They played a lot of man. They were able to get pressure. They were able to jam at the line, and they did everything the defense needed to do. Man, hats off.
Hats off to Tampa Bay. Yeah, hats off to Tampa Bay. A phenomenal performance. And now moving on to Dallas and Green Bay. Green Bay dominated Dallas 48-32 on the road. Aaron Jones ran for 3 touchdowns. Jordan Love threw for 3 more in his postseason debut. This is also Dallas' first home loss since the 2022 opener. They had kind of been rolling in home, honestly, because they just were kind of unbeatable there for most of the year. And when you look at this game, man, like, it was from the opening drive. Green Bay, they said, we want the ball. They didn't defer. They just we want to set the tone. Like they had to, honestly, because they were a heavy underdog. And so many mistakes by Dallas. Dak looked completely just out of sorts. At this point, Dak is who he is at this point of his career. I mean, there's not much going to change. I'm like, we're going to see this every year. I'm like, okay, this is going to be the year he figures it out. Because I honestly thought going into this playoffs, they would at least make the NFC Championship and play San Francisco. They didn't even get past the first round. To you, what's it out in this game? And honestly, what Jordan Love did, and honestly Aaron Jones, because that running game was suspicious.
That's what we do. That's the MO for a successful Green Bay Packers season. We've been doing this since Brett Favre, since Starr, since Aaron Rodgers, now Jordan Love. When the running game starts, and then we picked up the blitz really well, and then Jordan Love doesn't crumble under pressure, and then the wide receivers were doing their jobs. But the biggest thing I said, talking about Dak Prescott, he doesn't like to run. He ran like twice to extend the play, but he doesn't like to run. He likes to stay in the pocket. They're bringing pressure. Once you make Dak Prescott think more than he should, the game is over.
It's scary. It's a scary sight for him.
He doesn't know how to process.
He starts looking like he's seeing ghosts. I mean, those eyes got big.
Bro. That pick six that Savage had should never have been thrown. Oh, the conversation with him and CD trying to get them back, he forced that. He's sticking more than he should. Certain play, like,
He's
It
yelling
was
at CD.
yeah.
I'm like, it's not CD, it's you, man. Like,
Yeah.
CD's
Some of those strolls were, but he was off a lot of things. It was just not just to CD, it was to other wide receivers. And I told people, and I said this on the podcast, they're not going to run on us. We're going to make Dak throw, and he's going to have to run, which he doesn't like to. And we were getting there. He wasn't. Yeah. So it was a lot of things that happened. And I think once the running game works for the Cowboys, then he gets comfortable. He doesn't have to think much because now they're playing up. He can do the slant routes. He can do the things that he's comfortable with. Once you start making Dak think more than he should, his game is over with. Yeah, they had that comeback run and scored a couple touchdowns, but at that time the game is over. Yeah. So
the Packers receivers were wide open. I mean, wide open.
I said this on the podcast, bro. I said their secondary was suspect, and they've been suspect for the past 3-4 games. And even Bland, we were going at Bland a lot. The guy who had the most pick six, he reminds me of Diggs. Diggs had a lot of interceptions, but he gets beat a lot. And that secondary never wants to show up. And if the defensive line could get there, then it helps out the secondary, but they weren't getting there, and then it was getting exposed.
It was so funny.
Stephon Gilmore.
Now, I was just going to say, it was so funny. Fox had to zoom out because you could barely see any Cowboys defenders in sight. Like, it's like, are they that open?
It's sad, bro.
It was crazy.
I was ecstatic, but at the same time, I'm looking at, this was a talented team. This is a talented Cowboy. This is not like...
This is a very talented team.
Yeah, very talented Dallas Cowboys team. What they were... Number 5, top 5 in a couple categories, and the defense was too.
Defensive, yeah.
And to give up that many points. And another thing, the defense was trash. Dallas Cowboys defense, that's not all on Dak. It's not all on Dak. That defense did not show up.
This vaunted defense that was supposed to be like the second coming of the 85 Bears. They were saying the first two. They're like, first 3 weeks, they're like, nah, this Cowboys defense sucks. I'm like, I don't want to hear this.
No,
let me see this in January.
Thank you. That's what it counts the most. Whatever you do in the regular season doesn't count until you get to that playoffs. Yeah. They showed they wasn't ready for that moment. Dak Prescott thought too much, and that defense didn't show up.
And they're keeping Mike McCarthy. What did you think about that? I think
I like that.
I think
I like that. Show some loyalty, man. I don't think anybody. It's not the head coach. Okay. It's the guy behind.
Savon's corner. Backing up.
Not even a general manager. You know what I'm talking about. Old wrinkly fella. Get out the way.
He needs to
get out the way. Your formula is not working. What you did in the 80s or whatever, the 90s, just a whole totally different game. Get out the way. It's not Mike McCarthy. I think Mike McCarthy called a good game.
Said, get out the way.
And maybe I'm partial. That's so funny. I didn't want to laugh too hard with that. Maybe I'm partial because I like Mike McCarthy because he was my previous head coach for the Green Bay Packers. I think he's a good OC. No, I think he's a good OC. Come on, man. I think he's a good OC. I think Dak thought too much, but I do think Jared Jones need to get out the way. Yeah. Get out the way because you've been doing it for this amount of years. You were successful in that little amount of time. It's somebody else's time. You hired that general manager. You hired that head coach for a reason. Get out the way.
That window is closed, man.
I like that he kept Mike. Because who else would have been in that position? Him and Bill, get out of here. They would have butt heads before he got in the building.
The other coaches I was going to say the ones that were mentioned: Belichick, Jim Harbaugh, and Mike Vrabel. Those are the three other coaches that were mentioned.
Him and Jim would have butted heads too. That's how I feel. Because with San Francisco, it was a perfect situation because the owner was, I forgot the owner name at that time. I think it's the same owner. But they gel well. Right. But Jerry Jones is hands-on owner. San Francisco's not.
That is true.
Kraft is really not. I mean, at a certain point, obviously, you want to keep
that, yeah.
But at certain points, Kraft would let him do what he wanted to do. This your control. You got a general manager up there. Y'all on the same page. But you think Bill or Jim or any of those guys want to go in that situation? And I think that's why he kept him. Mike is cordial. Mike will be able to do certain things that he's wanted and then kind of, I think it's a good relationship. But Jerry Jones needs to get out the way.
For sure. Stamped, signed, approval rating from
come on.
Savon's Corner says, "Get out the way." You heard it from Savon's Corner.
You killed
Hey, it
me
wasn't
with
me,
that
Jerry.
Savon's
It wasn't me,
Corner.
Jerry.
Jared. Oh man.
Yeah, I know
I
what you
met
want to
Jared
say.
Jones. I met Jared Jones one time.
This
At the Senior Bowl.
this guy,
Promise you, bro.
man, always does this. He's
At the
no,
Renaissance Battle House
you gotta-
Hotel. It was during Senior Bowl because I had to pick up talent. I had to pick up all the talent guys. So I went in there, and Jared Jones was there because he was during the Senior Bowl week. He's scouting or whatever, him and son. And he looks worse in person. He got so much money. They got organs on standby for him. Like, bro, he's rich as crap, bro. But he's a terrible guy. Terrible guy. Ask Dez Bryant.
Oh yeah, ask Dez. We do the tell-all interviews.
Oh yeah, I'm glad he's finally speaking out and talking his truth.
Definitely. And now moving on to Detroit's first playoff win in 32 years versus the Rams. The Lions won 24-23. Detroit ended a 9-game postseason losing streak, the longest in NFL history. The Rams had a chance to take the lead late in the fourth quarter, but the Lions got a stop. And this was actually, to me, I mean, I don't think it was even like that much of a competition. This was like the most entertaining wild card game of the entire weekend. It went back and forth down to the wire. Mm-hmm. I thought the Rams were going to win this game, but man, the Lions made key defensive plays when they needed to. It was one of those games where it was separated by one or two plays because it was a 1-point game. To you, what stood out to you in this matchup, and also how the Lions were able to figure things out? Because Stafford, he got back in, but he also got a lot of pressure from that Lions defensive front.
I mean, the Lions wanted him more. I think it's a lot more. For all the dogs, there's
and we're consistent. The OVO sponsorship, we want it. We want those owl sponsorship.
We would love it.
We would love that.
Sign us today, brother. But no, I think the Lions wanted him more, and then manifestation. But no, I do think the Lions wanted him more, and when it mattered the most, the defense stepped up. I think. At first, in the beginning of the season, it was only one person getting pressure for the Lions, and he was so gassed. It was the first couple of games, and now the entire defensive line is getting back there. And I think that's they bought into the nature of what it takes to win a championship or try to go to get a championship, because it's set up for them to possibly even go to the Super Bowl, right? Michigan just won the national championship.
They got a good setup, another home playoff game, and then NFC Championship to take your pick.
I will say this. If Jared Goff is forced to throw the football and that running game is not working, I don't think they make it. And the running game is working with Montgomery, and obviously they got Jamar Gibbs. And I think all the wide receiver core is starting to work out with am I saying Brown or am I saying that right? This is what we do live.
Pronunciation zone of the podcast.
No, name zone, because I probably didn't get his name right.
Name zone.
What's his name? Oh, yeah, it's St. Brown. It is St. Brown. Yeah, St. Brown. St. Brown went off, and then Reynolds is another guy. And then I like how they're using Jamar Gibbs into the passing game with screens and have them coming out with wheel routes and little angle routes out of the backfield. But that's what they're gonna have to do. Jared Goff cannot have the ball in his hands. And then the Rams, when Matt Stafford went down, and we've seen this in the regular season, they lose their identity, obviously, because they don't have a good backup quarterback. And Matthew Stafford is better than I thought he would be at this late stage of his career. He's still showing up and trying to make good throws. Still slinging it. But I think obviously they wanted it more for sure. And then in the key moments, obviously the defense stepped up. But they're going to have to make sure this running game is going to be good against the Buccaneers. If not, I don't think Jared Goff can sling it and be consistent. Because he struggled. He started struggling, I think it was in the third quarter and some of the fourth quarter. And I just don't think he has that. We've seen that when they went to the playoffs. Yeah, they went to the Super Bowl.
I mean, that's the thing. Jared Goff to me is always the weak link. Like, he's not that impressive to me. It's the surrounding parts of the team. Like, if you were like, and that's why, like, in terms of the matchup, I picked the Rams. I thought Stafford was going to have more big plays for them. But
Yeah.
if that running game is not working, like it in golf, like you said, really has to win the game, it's just not going to happen. So they
No.
really have to make sure that the running game is working and flourishing, and he's just having to make those, dink and dunk passes and not really have to like try to
Yeah.
overtly win it.
Yeah, you can tell the difference when Matthew Stafford came over in his first year. They went to the Super Bowl and won it. So it's obviously that was the difference maker. They have the same team,
Same system.
same system,
Yeah.
same team, and him coming in and being more a complete quarterback and more consistent and being accurate with his throws. You can see the difference. Now, this
That's
is
how
the
it is
same
with
Jared
like
Goff.
the 49ers.
Yeah.
Like Garoppolo. You don't trust Garoppolo, but you trust
No.
but you trust, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Not.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
I'm trying to,
No, I don't know
make
what you
the logic
said.
clear.
No, that has no correlation. It has no correlation, bro.
I gotta put my 49ers agenda in. I gotta put my 49ers agenda in, whatever happens.
What are we doing? By the way, Wellington is a Patriots fan, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Patriots. Patriots for sure. Patriots for sure. I show allegiance to them. Show allegiance to the Patriots. Even though I talk about the 49ers all the
time. I just want that to be known.
Thank you. So do you feel as though when you look at this Lions team, like obviously it's so crazy because the overall system of the Lions, like it's changed. Like in past years, it was like the Packers beat them every time in Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
They're kind of that little brother. Like, what has impressed you the most about how they've kind of like gotten that elite status in the NFC and really kind of changed the infrastructure of their team?
Patience.
Yeah.
I think with any other organization, it's always, we need to win now. Detroit always had potential, but they've been super patient. And I think I'm glad they stay with, what's the head coach's name? See, this is why you should know these things. And this is not in my notes because I didn't think.
Dan Campbell?
Dan Campbell, thank you. I love him as a head coach because he's for the players. He loves his players, and he has that tenacity. You have to be patient with a coach like that. And they finally got the pieces. And I think they're content with Jared Goff at quarterback because of the pieces around them and that they're starting to get it right. But I do think they're one player short for being in the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl. And that's the quarterback situation. I think they should draft a quarterback because I don't think Jared Goff is a Super Bowl quarterback. And I don't think he can win a game when it comes down to clutch. I think with the Buccaneers, it's going to be a close game. And so he's going to have to, because they got two monsters in the middle, David and White, and they have some good D linemen up front. I don't think they're going to run the ball as prolific as they normally do. So what are you going to do? You're going to have to throw the ball. He's going to throw the ball at least 30, 35 times. And I think when Jared Goff gets to that number, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem.
And now getting to the Texans' current success, CJ Stroud is just continuing to really impress. The Texans beat the Browns 45-14. Stroud became the youngest QB to win a playoff game. And I expected a lot more out of the Browns because I feel as though the defense was impressive throughout the year. But the Texans just thoroughly dominated them. CJ Stroud is on a really impressive run. They're now facing Baltimore. To you, what stood out the most in this game, and also what the Texans are doing with that offense and what Stroud is continuing to show week after week?
That defensive line was non-existent for the Browns. Myles Garrett, one of the toughest defensive ends, got shut down. The secondary only can hold somebody for so long, man. You gotta have that pressure. And CJ Stroud was standing in the pocket. He had time, and he's confident now. You're gonna have to, and they weren't blitz him as much as I thought they're gonna do. As a young quarterback, I'm gonna blitz him. I'm gonna mix up coverages. You look what the Chiefs were doing. They were mixing up coverages, spinning. They started at cover 2, then they made it look like it was gonna be cover 1, and it went back to cover 2 really fast, and then made Tua go echo, and he threw the interception in the same play. So with CJ Stroud, you have to mix up the defensive play call. You have to send blitz. The defensive lineman has to get home without sending a blitz. You have to have pressure on this kid and make him extend the play, make him get out of the pocket. He doesn't like to run. He's one of those other quarterbacks. Him. It's buddy from the Panthers, Alabama. Bryce Young. Yeah. Dak Prescott.
They do not want to run.
Laundry list of quarterbacks who do not like to run. They like to stay in the pocket, be comfortable. They only run if they have to. You have to make him uncomfortable. And I think in the beginning of the season, they were doing that. Now the offensive line has clicked. They're protecting him, and he's comfortable. He's confident. When he has time, we see what CJ Stroud can do. We see that he has a huge arm and he's accurate, especially with the deep ball throws. And that's where they live at right now. So I think with this next game and what the Browns didn't do was get pressure because his offensive line has evolved and gotten better over the stint of the season. So I think that's the difference. And then Joe Flacco ran out of juice, baby. Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe ran out of juice, baby.
Hey, 39, man. 39 hits different. 39 hits different. It showed.
He got his incentives. He got some of his incentives. He's cool. He's about to go back home and be cool. I came to work and got me some money. I didn't expect to win the Super Bowl.
I didn't expect this. What?
I didn't expect to get this far, but here we are. But I think they ran out of juice. And without a prolific running game and Nick Chubb and all these guys, like, you miss that. I understand people don't want to pay running backs, but having a good running back system works. It's old school. I know everybody wants you West Coast, but a good running game can open up the pass, and a good pass game can eventually open up the run. But I think it's more prominent when you run and then pass. So Browns wasn't able to do that, and Joe Flacco didn't have time to do anything, even tie his shoes.
Not tie his shoes. No, man, they're not tight enough. Give me a second.
Hey, Uncle Joe was throwing. Uncle Joe threw 46. Boy was tied. 2 interceptions. Unc slept good in that crowd chamber. My boy need a Sitsu. What's this? Sitsu baby? Sitsu. Uncle Joe.
But before we move on, the Bills, they were able to beat the Steelers. Chiefs were able to dominate the Dolphins. Did you have any thoughts about those games? I feel as though Tua didn't. I mean, that was obviously. I mean, he struggled a lot throughout the game.
Moment too big.
That's what you said, and you literally said that last week. You think literally verbatim. You said, "I think the moment's going to be too big for him," and it clearly was.
They were confusing him again. Tua is a game manager, bro. He was gifted something from above with all these players.
Yeah.
And you see what happens when it's time to make a play, be a game changer. He is not. And it showed. And with the Bills, I knew what they were going to do. Allen, keep playing like this. This is what you did your first 2 seasons, bro. Extend the play, run, be decisive. And the running game is going to work. If you run, if you're getting blitzed, do not try to stay back there. Run. Go. And you see what happened. He would have had, a 50, 60-yard touchdown?
Ooh, crazy.
Bro, just do what you normally do. Don't try to be nobody. This is how you got here. This is how you been. You were supposed to be the next man up. This is supposed to be the next rival game. This is what got you there. You extended plays. You man, move. Frog dogs. This is what your MO is, and this is how you guys are successful. And it's working. The defense is going to do what they do. You guys have to keep them off the field.
Right.
Long drives, extended plays. Don't stand back there too long. Hit the offensive line out and take what the defense give you. I think Allen is a game manager, but he has the ability to extend plays, which he's willing to do. We've seen that countless times.
Really?
And I do. Did you not see the first half of the season?
That's true. Season? But I'm saying, I think when we talk about game managers, it's usually guys who aren't that dynamic and are going to put up big numbers when they are clicking. A lot of times, game managers, they're just like, okay, like they have average. Jared Goff isn't going to ever be in like an MVP type of category. Goff is a game manager to me. I think putting him and Josh Allen in that same category, like he's way too different quarterbacks.
I don't think Jared Goff is a game manager. I think Jared Goff is an opportunist, and I think he feeds off the running game and the play action. That's what he's most prolific at. When I think of a game manager, the difference between Allen and all these other guys, he can extend plays willingly. He's willing to do so. That's what I think we kind of muddy the water of elite because he can't extend the play. If Allen did not run, he would be just like the rest of them. Because we've seen that when he didn't want to run, he wanted to be a pocket passer. He's throwing interceptions every game. He's forcing plays. He's forcing a drive. The offense is not moving well. Now, when he's willing to run and extend plays and do all those things, they move. That's why I don't feel like he's a game manager. Did I say he was a game manager? I lost my train of thought.
Listeners, this is like what's so great about Savon's Corner. I was thinking about the process of it, and just like this guy gives takes. This guy gives takes that aren't like typical podcasters. I'm like, whenever he's making,
I don't know if that's a compliment or not, brother.
It's not the same mundane take. This guy really juices it up.
I don't even know what to say.
I study the podcast genre, and this Savon's Corner is one of the best corners in podcast industry.
Savon's Corner doesn't exist. It's all Wellington's doing. I didn't create this. But no, I don't think he's a game manager. I think he's in the cusp of that line of game manager and elite quarterback. If he can play, if he's a game manager, he has to play consistently to become a game manager. He doesn't do that. We've seen that in the first half and dripping in the second half of the season. But I think he's in the cusp of game manager and elite quarterback because he's willing to extend plays like these other game managers not. Brock Purdy is not going to run much. Bryce Young, we said we're not going to run much. CJ Stroud doesn't run much. I don't think CJ Stroud is a game changer. A game manager, but these are the difference between these quarterbacks. If you willing to run, like Lamar Jackson, I think if he stayed in the pocket, he wouldn't be as great as he is. And I don't think he'll put fear into a lot of defensive coordinators' hearts. Yeah. But I love that he's running because that's the way of the game is going. It's being able to extend plays, being able to run, do all these certain things to extend, have an addition to the offense. And now the defensive coordinator has to do a spy, has to do this, has to take somebody down from the coverage to spy you or come up and play 8-7 in the box. So I think that's what the game is changing. But I don't think I think he's in the cusp. He's in like that little fine line.
Middle tier.
Yeah, the middle tier. But he has to play consistent. He has to do exactly what he's been doing. Do not change up. Who do they play? They play the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, that's what I want to get to. That's what I want to get to. This divisional round is going to be so intriguing. Texans, Ravens, 49ers, Packers, Bills, Chiefs, Lions, Buccaneers. You can make your pick for all the games, but is there one in particular that kind of stands out the most?
You already know. Green Bay and 49ers, they have been our thorn in our backside, our Achilles heel for so many years. I'm confident, but when I said that we've beaten the Dallas Cowboys so many times in the playoffs and regular season, I knew now 49ers since Colin Kaepernick was quarterback. We lost to them for them to get to the Super Bowl. Yeah. So we're gonna have to play perfect football like last week, and I think we can. I think we're on a high, but I think that game is going to be extremely. Ooh, my goodness! There's our Achilles heel. We're gonna have to do some things differently. I don't think their front seven is going to be a factor to me because Bosa and Young, all these guys, I don't think they can bring that pressure. If they can, I think we've been blocking it well. If we can block Dallas Cowboys front seven pretty well and pick up the blitz, I'm not afraid of the 49ers. But what I am afraid of Mr. McCaffrey.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Samuel. Mr. Kittle. Ayuk.
All those guys.
We're going to have to get to Purdy. We're going to have to get to Purdy because they're going to do a lot of misdirection, a lot of screens. They're going to have to eat their Wheaties and have some endurance because Kyle Shanahan, man, he knows how to get the plays. He has our number. He's had our number. I think we beat them maybe twice in the past 5-6 years.
Yeah, man. They got a lot of success. They have a lot of success against you guys.
Okay, don't say it like that.
A lot,
yo. You said, yeah, bro. You trying to be slick with it, bro. I hear you. I got headphones in, but nah, it's gonna be a good one. But I'm eager to see this Kansas City Buffalo because we always get it.
I cannot wait for it, man. I cannot wait for this game, bro. This is the one I think is gonna have all of the attention.
Yeah,
because it's the narrative game. It's really the narrative game because it's like time and time again the Chiefs have beat the Bills. That 13-second game, the Bills know that should have been their game. That was the game that they should have won. Kansas City was able to figure it out. And now for the first time ever, like I said, Mahomes is playing a road is playing a road game. It's so crazy to me. This is the first time he's ever played a road playoff game, and I
It's
think
even playing field. Yeah,
it's even playing field. So I'm slightly picking Kansas City, just as by the
really.
slight. Yeah, I saw Kansas City. I got by a slight edge. But you're rolling
It's
with.
like, ooh, I have the Bills because
This is their best
I
chance to do it. Definitely their best chance to do it.
thank you.
Everything's set up for them.
They don't have they don't have to be afraid of these wide receivers. Years prior, oh yeah, they had some dogs. Like, but I don't think they're going to be afraid of their wide receiver core, and I think they can stop the running game. Obviously, Mahomes, he's a threat running the ball. He's a threat throwing the ball. He's a threat extending the play. So I think that's going to play a role. But I think if the Bills can stick to their guns and stick to what they've been doing the past 3 games, I think they win. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be like 21-17 type vibes.
I
I
can
think
see
it's going
that.
to be really close. It's always a good game. Come down to the
Yeah,
wire.
for sure.
But like, I'll say 21-17. I got the Bills winning. I think this is the year they pull it off and beat this giant that has been whooping their butts for the past 3 years.
I honestly hope that Buffalo is able to pull it off, just because
Yeah.
if you don't do it this year with all the issues the Chiefs have, I don't know when you do it, man. Because this is the most vulnerable the Chiefs have looked in years.
Yeah.
But
If
Mahomes in the playoffs though is different. I'm just gonna say that Mahomes in the playoffs though is really
yeah,
different.
he is different. You can never bet against him, but I just think this year he doesn't have the weapons to bail him out. Most of the years the wide receiver core, the offensive line is always just a red flag. No pun intended, because they're definitely red uniforms. But I think there's been the Achilles heel, but they had the wide receiver weapons and him extending the play, getting outside the pocket and throwing. His accuracy has saved them a lot of instances. I don't think it saved them this year in the playoffs. But if Buffalo do win, I think Baltimore is going to beat Houston.
Yeah, I
And I
got
think
Baltimore and Houston and Detroit against Tampa Bay.
okay.
You,
I had I had to process that.
you have Tampa. I thought I was about to say, if you got Tampa Bay, if you got the upset, if you got the upset alert, I'm
Yeah,
picking Detroit.
it's gonna be Detroit beating them.
Yeah, that's what
Detroit,
I got.
yeah, Detroit. It's gonna be. Hear me out. Detroit versus Packers for the championship, NFC North, right?
You want
And
that? So
then
biased. You want that? You want that NFC North
no, I
match?
think we could beat San Francisco, and I think Detroit is on a high, and I think Baker Mayfield is going to make mistakes, but that's always Baker does.
That's always his Achilles heel. The
Yeah,
mistakes.
Baker's going to make a mistake eventually. They're going to get behind, and he's going to have to throw. And when he does that, he averages a interception a game.
Mm-hmm.
When he was with the Buccaneers, when he was with the Browns, and when he was with the Panthers. So that's his MO. We're not going anything against him, but once he has to throw more than 30 throws, he averages an interception. That's a crazy stat, by the way. But I do think we're going to beat San Francisco. And then Detroit. And I think that's going to be a lovely stat line because, one, they won NFC North, and then now they have to play their team. And then I think it's going to be Baltimore or Buffalo. I think Baltimore is going to beat Buffalo because they're going to know how to stop Lamar.
Yeah, Baltimore. I think Baltimore is definitely gonna win the AFC, because I mean this is just one of those years where I really want to see the narrative with Lamar.
Excuse me.
The quarterback, like you said with the TikTok lady, the quarterback. He's not quarterbacky enough for me. Like, that was so annoying. I really want that to end, because I mean this should be the year they get to the Super Bowl and really kind of just set their tone and make a statement.
Yeah, and I think that's that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now get into basketball with the NBA and the Mavericks, and kind of how well they played this season. Dallas is currently 5th in the West. Tim Hardaway Jr. is a 6th Man of the Year candidate and has been flourishing during his stint as a fill-in starter while Luka dealt with a sprained right ankle. They did have the loss to the Lakers last night by 17, but when you look at this Mavericks team and where they're kind of currently standing in the West, there always have been issues with kind of like where their defense can hold up in the postseason. But how do you feel about how they're looking currently? And also Kyrie, I think he's been playing exceptionally well. And also Tim Hardaway Jr., he's really been a bright spot for them and kind of a consistent spot, and can kind of always be that consistent bucket getter.
Yeah, I think outside of Luca and Kyrie, I've become a fan of Dante Exum. And
Yeah.
I think
Oh my
before he
goodness.
got injured, I think it was is it a knee? I think it's a knee injury. And
Mhm.
I think he was getting some buckets. I think he revived his career, came off and started, contributing on the front court and the back court. But Kyrie has played better. It was a against the what chemistry was going to be like when he played a full season with Luca and played a full season with these guys. It has been pretty
It's been
good.
good. It's been
I
good.
do think it's too many ISOs though, because
Way
Luca
too
likes the
many.
ISO and Kyrie likes the ISO, and I think at a certain point, who gets the ball last? And I haven't figured that out yet because it's always mixed. Who do you? And I don't in looking at the games, I'm thinking like, who do I want? Because both of them
That's such a good question.
can shoot, but outside of that, I think they're playing really good. I do think um, Tim Hardaway Jr. is kind of reviving his career too, because when he first came in the league, everybody was high on him, and then he just kind of took a dip. And I think he's playing in a good system with Luca and them the guys. But I do think I'm more impressed by Dante Exum's career and how he's reviving it, and then he gets injured.
Yeah.
So, but now I like where the Mavericks is going, and then I do like Steph Curry coming off the bench.
That's solid. That's a
I
solid
used to want him to be in the starting five, but I think him coming off the bench is better.
for sure.
Yeah, but the Mavericks are looking good.
Definitely. And now getting into the Lakers and kind of like their current trade deadline options. They're currently 10th in the West. There's a clear need for an upgrade at the guard position. They want a player that can score on their own, shoot well from three, and be an offense initiator. Zach LaVine and Dejounte Murray have kind of been mentioned as options for them. To you, like what do you kind of see as a need for them, or maybe a player that can kind of fit what they do? I do think Dejounte Murray could possibly be that guy.
Yeah.
Because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's obviously going to be a bucket getter
Mm-hmm.
and kind of be that literally what fits the offensive needs that they're really trying to fulfill.
You know what? I'm gonna go off the rails. I think they just need a true point guard, and I say that because I think they should trade for Colin Sexton.
Oh,
And
that's he's been mentioned.
I've
He's been mentioned
I've been big on him since he got into the league when he was the Cavaliers, now he's with the Jets. I think he could be because Russell is not it. Russell has to go. They have to shop him around. They have to figure him out. He has to go. And I think Austin Reeves at the two is fine. Obviously, I think they'll need another big guy. So uh Prince got to get out the starting five.
Torian
Prince
Prince.
has to get out the starting five. LeBron needs to go back to the three. They need to find a four. And then I think if they get Colin Sexton or Murray, I think it will work out because I think they're missing that consistency. And I think Colin and DeJounte
They can fill
has
in that.
that. They can fill in that, and they play good defense, both of them. And then Murray, he's not a distraction. All he does, and I've watched several interviews of him. He doesn't drink, he doesn't party, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't do anything. All he does
Professional.
is play
Extremely
basketball.
professional.
That's what the Lakers need. When they won those championships and when they went deep into the playoffs, they had a solid point guard. Rajon Rondo was one of them. I mean, it's Derek Fisher. I
Eric
mean, the list
Fisher.
goes. List goes. Derek Fisher. The list goes on. I think that's what they're missing, and to
Uh-huh.
get the ball out of LeBron's hand. LeBron just needs to roam and let him eventually turn on the Jets and get into the mix. But I think if they have Colin Sexton or DeJounte Murray, I think it will work. Anybody else, I don't want to fit. I think Colin Sexton is not a big, huge contract, even though I think they have the cap space. I think if they get Colin Sexton or DeJounte Murray, I think it'll work. And
Yeah.
then try to find a four. I don't know what four you can get. And that's tricky. But I
That's
do
super
think they need to
tricky. Yeah.
get LeBron out of the four and put him back at the three.
Oh yeah. It's like you said, when LeBron is roaming and he's not having to be that guy who's got the ball in his hands, having to set up plays,
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna drain LeBron. That's gonna be kind of something
Yes.
that brings down his kind of like offensive output because he
Mm-hmm.
is getting older and he kind of needs to conserve his energy
Yes.
for April, May, and hopefully June for
Mm-hmm.
them. So that's really where they need to be at.
I definitely agree. Now they have to find that four. And Cam Reddish, I like him coming off the bench defensive wise, but he's not going to give you buckets anymore. And then they need some of these guys to step up. Austin Reeves needs to step up big time. Big time. If they don't get the 4, if they get DeJounte Murray or if they get Colin Sexton, I think it'll help out. Get a rid of D Russell. Probably who else will go if they got him? Ooh, probably Gabe Vincent will probably go. Christian Wood will probably go. They'll have to give up a lot. They have to give at least two players or some draft picks to get Colin Sexton. Murray, I think sure. They'll get for a good price. But Sexton, he's playing great basketball right now. And if they want to poach him, yeah, it's going to cost more. Not saying Murray's not playing good basketball, but you could tell Sexton is just that difference makers for that team.
Yeah.
It's just that tenacity, bro. Like even when they had Patrick Beverley, I like Patrick Beverley with the Lakers when they had him. He was a good addition. Like they need that type of grit.
Aggression. Yeah. That aggressiveness that they kind of lack when they don't have players like that. And he could definitely provide that for them. And the major news of yesterday was Pascal Siakam going to the Pacers.
I like that.
Indiana sent Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, and 3 first-round picks to Toronto. 2 of the first-round picks going to Toronto are for 2024. And I mean, Siakam is so versatile defensively. He can score as well. And I think he was kind of a coveted asset for a lot of teams that were kind of struggling. Indiana, though, you place him next to Tyrese Halliburton. They can do a lot of good things in the postseason. How do you kind of feel about that move for Indiana and just, how Siakam can fit with them?
Great move, especially them sitting at number 7. I think they felt they were missing one piece. And Siakam is obviously great on front court or back court. They could give you buckets and give great defense. I think with him, Halliburton, I think it'll be a good mixture. Now they're gonna have to move some pieces around. I think they're at least missing one more guy, but I think Siakam is a right move in the right direction because we've seen what he can do, especially when they won the NBA Finals with Kawhi before he said deuces to them. He played a pivotal part. Obviously, Fred VanVleet played a pivotal part as well. But Siakam has grown up over the years and became that player that we were talking about for eons on our the podcast. That we were like, Siakam can be that guy. He can be that difference maker. And I think he can. I think sitting at number 7, I think that's a great move. You need something to get you over the hump, especially after the break. I think Siakam is that. It obviously is going to take a couple weeks for him to get acclimated and get that chemistry with everybody. But once they get the rolling, I think they're in a good mix.
They can do it, man.
Yeah.
This is a great fit for them because, I mean, Indiana is starting to really they're really starting to show everybody, hey, we got a star in Tyrese Halliburton, a guy who can like really make waves throughout the league and kind of needs that one postseason to get that experience before they really start to take off. So I think you pair him with another elite guy because Tyrese, he's going to find out that, hey, I can't be the only guy who's like being elite scoring, especially in the postseason. So when you add Siakam, that's just going to bolster what they can do. And I think within that mix, man, looking at the West, the Clippers are really impressing me, man. The Clippers are really impressing me.
Really?
I think this Clippers team could go to the finals. I think this Clippers team could go to the finals. I really do. And the reason I say that.
Welcome to Wellington's Corner, ladies and gentlemen. Wellington's Corner, ladies and gentlemen.
But I really think the Clippers, man, they could be the team that could get into that mix because Kawhi, he is extremely, extremely versatile. Russell Westbrook coming off the bench, that's gonna be major for them. And then you got Harden. He's flowing with what he's doing in that starting 5. Not saying that they will get to the finals, but I think they can be a threat because I still think Denver is that number one team. But the Clippers, even when I was watching them against OKC, I was like, this team is like actually a lot better than how they started off, and now they're just the pieces. Tyronn Lue, he knows how to put the chess pieces together. I don't know, and maybe you disagree.
I'm just taking it all in, bro, because I thought you were against this Clippers team. You have a change of heart. Okay.
I was at first, but I'm saying,
looking like what?
I was at first, but it's a long season, man. It is a long
82 games,
season.
huh? Now I get it. They're starting. We kind of briefly talked about it last week. They're starting to play for each other more and no load management. They're starting. Paul George had an incredible night last night. He had 38 points and some other stats. But my concern
Feeling
is
for me as I put my mic back.
We got a Swiss watch. My concern is that they're gonna get gassed. And I know you said, "Oh, what about load management?" No, because it took them so long to get in the groove of playing team basketball. Yeah. Now I'm wondering how long they can withstand it. Can Paul George stay healthy? Can James Harden step up and be relevant and if they go and make a playoff run? Yeah. I know the most consistent thing on this team is Russell Westbrook because Russ has been doing it since he got there. He's been consistent. Sure, he's been finding his role. He's been doing what he had to do. But my concern is Paul George and James Harden. And then Kawhi is, if he's healthy still, no load management, I think he'll be consistent too. Those 4 guys. 4 guys. We didn't even mention anybody coming off the bench.
You got 4 bucket getters who can put up something at any point, man. 4 bucket getters.
I gotta believe it to see it. Or see it to believe it.
See it to believe it. And now get into our first album review of 21 Savage's American Dream. In this new project, there's an elite beats that 21 has always kind of had a good ear for in modern hip hop. There's deep cut R&B samples. He has wit and frankness and a lot of bars on these tracks. Man, I like this album. I like this album a lot, bro. I really do. And the thing about it is I like the fact that it's 15 tracks. He goes in it with a certain intent of like, hey, I'm gonna go with not a bloated album, but a track list that I think is actually like has well constructed songs in it. I think there's well constructed songs in this album, and I think he's improved his wordplay in some cases. He's obviously not one of those elite rappers that we have, but I think this was a good album. I like it. I like the direction, and I thought the features in it were good. And I know you have the dismissive look. So I'm gonna let you cook. Nah,
bro, finish. You do you.
I'm gonna let you cook, man.
Nah, I thought it was better than all his other albums.
That's what I'm saying, man.
He literally led it to my brother. He's trying to be Drake. Like he was actually rapping. And there's some other tracks in here that he switched up the beats. He's actually rapping like a normal rapper. Which I like his style. Like the song that got me, I wanted to be like, this album's stupid. Sneaky, bro. I don't know why I like Sneaky.
That's the same thing.
Sneaky, bro. His flow on Sneaky, I was like, oh, okay. And I wanted to hate it. And I was like, oh, okay. And then it just got better and better and better. And I'm like, man.
Can I just be honest, man? There were so many times I was thinking like, man, I'm not going to like this. I know I'm not going to like this. But I ended up liking it.
Yeah.
I ended up liking it, man. 21 impressed me on this album, bro.
It's a sleeper.
Really did, bro. It's a sleeper album. Man.
Yeah, this is solid, bro. And I love the features, like you said. It wasn't like a lot of features, but I think it was a lot of features actually. But he put me on people that I never heard of.
Yeah, you didn't even know of, yeah.
Tommy Newport, Mickey Echo, never heard of them. I skipped that number 4 song.
That's a sleeper, man. That's a sleeper. His flow on that was tough. His flow on that was tough.
I'll be sleep all day. I'm not listening to the Doja Cat, man. Anti-Doja. But this was definitely sleeper, bro. He really impressed me how he switched up the flow, that he showed that he's capable of rapping like this, but this is my style. But yeah, this was definitely versatile. This was the first time I've seen versatility in 21.
Oh yeah, man.
This was solid. I like this one.
I just want to say
saved.
It did. Red Rum is crazy.
Yes.
That song is crazy. Yes. Yeah. How the sample in the beginning and how it switches, I was like, this man is flowing.
Buddy must listen to like so bro. He was on.
I
I
really
don't know what
want to
he
know what his
did,
playlist is. I really want to know what his music playlist is because I feel like he listens to a lot of different music.
bro. He definitely Slaughter Gang LLC baby Slaughter Gang. Shout out Slaughter Gang. But nah, yeah, this really put me in a different light with 21. That he can do other things, that versatility that he has in there. Like same thing we said with Kodak Black when he did it with Kendrick Lamar. We were like, okay, Kodak can really get into that realm of and Kodak's legit. And then now 21, because we already know he do, trap, gangster rap, whatever. But he can get into that. Letter to My Brother really showed me that he can get into that mode if he wanted to. Obviously, it's
That
not
showed me
like
something. That
yeah,
showed me something, man.
because when it came out, I was like, this sounds like the Drake a rap on.
Yeah, yeah.
And what if he got the beat from one of the producers? Matter of
Oh, yeah,
fact, wait.
easily.
Oh, Letter to My Brother. Let me see who got credited. No, wait. I don't know any other. What comes in? It's a lot of people on this actually. Yeah, it's a lot of people that got credit on this.
He had a lot of credits.
Producer, and then composition of lyrics, composer. Wait, who's Paola Barbara? And Shia? He didn't write this himself?
I think 21 had a lot of writers for this album.
That just makes it whoa. Maybe that's why he did it this way. They had writers. There's 2 other writers on there.
Yeah.
Oh, 21. I take it back. He's not. He's not versatile. It's not. But everybody has ghostwriters.
This album sounded
so
good. I'm just gonna say this album sounded really good.
We're gonna leave it alone. Great job, 21
Great
in
one.
the camp. Yeah, this is a great one. This is a different one. This is how you start 2024, brother.
That's what this is a tone setter for the year, man. This is a tone setter for the year. Like, how much pressure do you think it is for an artist to just decide, hey, I want to put an album at the start of the year? I feel as though that's something that you really got to be bold and really be confident in what you're doing, because that's tough.
Beginning of the year to start the year out, but it's a smart move because obviously people listen to old music and then they're on new rotation looking for new artists. You drop there, you get their attention, they'll listen to the full year. So I get it, but it's definitely bold. It has to be
tough.
Excuse me. It has to be really tough. Has to be engaging. Has to not be redundant. And I think this album, like we always love to say, check all the boxes.
It did.
Even got ghostwriters in there.
That ghostwriters part, you're not gonna like
21.
When you did that, Savon, I was like, man, I don't know.
Yeah, man. I'm okay with like ghostwriters to a certain extent, but if it's throughout your whole album, I'm like, yo, bro. Anywho, I'm not gonna take away from anything. This was a great album.
For sure. And I'll get into our Kid Cudi's INSANO review in his new album that's narrated by DJ Drama. It's got a lot of positive vibes production that's more trapped in some of the dreamlike soundscape he usually uses. And this was an interesting one. I thought this kind of had like this spring summer vibes. And it was just all kind of all over the place for me, man. It's not one I'm gonna revisit. This Absolutely. American Dream one, like we just saw with 21 Savage, that's just one I want to go back and listen to. That's just one I want to revisit. Yeah. This one is like, when I had to like think about it for the podcast again, I was like, okay, do I really want to listen to this again? I'd really rather listen to 21s. I just didn't want to run back. This is not one I see myself revisiting a lot.
No, I only say one song. That's Get Off Me. The beat is crazy. I think he came over. Yeah, I think he came on right. And then Travis Scott brings in that different element to bring it together. But yeah, it was all over the place. And my concern was, Kid Cudi, what else do you have to talk about? Are these songs that you have stopped? I think that Young Thug song he had for a while, and he's finally releasing it. It's a lot of tracks on this song. I mean, a lot of tracks on his album, and I just thought it was all over the place. Even in Lil Wayne, I was just like, okay, Kid Cudi, what? Why? It's like somebody that want to talk all the time, bro. Like, what do you want to talk about? Stop talking. Stop doing music, kid.
Do you ever
This
have that
really,
coworker? Do you ever have that coworker that just talked like all the time, like from the beginning of the morning? And I'm like, it's the beginning of the morning, and you already want to talk about whatever. And I'm like,
what did you
can
drink?
you just take some time to just wake up?
Yes, bro. Like, can I just like, bro? I don't want to talk, bro. I have my headphones in. Is that not an
Yeah, is that
indication I
not
don't
a
want to
sign? I
talk
got my
to
AirPod
nobody?
in. I'm not really ready to have a convo.
And have a whole conversation, bro. Good morning.
Morning.
That's all right.
I do my
Don't just say nothing
pleasantries.
else
I do
to
my
me.
pleasantries.
Man, that's crazy, man. Kid Cudi.
This one,
This,
I think
yeah,
it's time. I think it's time for Cudi for Kid Cudi to just kind of take a step back and just. I mean, I
tarnishing.
don't think we need any more music, man.
Yeah,
I think
bro.
we're
This
good.
did not add to your
It's
to your
actually like it's kind of
legacy.
taken away from some of your
Yes, bro. Because
the
what
more you
is
put
this,
on
bro? I love the cover art. That's about it.
INSANO. Sounds like a. I don't know. It sounds like a horror film title or something.
No, for real. By Key and Peele.
By Kid and Peele, yeah. And now getting into our next review with Rome Streetz Noise Kandy 5. In this album released last year, the Brooklyn MC is extremely consistent, tries more of the slows on this one. It was a dope mix of, as he likes to say, lyrical architecture. And most of these songs were recorded in 2020, and he wanted to release it before his international tour in Austria. And Rome Streetz is a guy I really have liked the past couple of years. Part of that Griselda camp, he's going to be consistent lyrically. He's gonna try a lot of things. I think this one he tried more trap than he usually does.
Yeah.
To you, what did you kind of think about this project and what he brought with it?
Drew. I like this one. I
Yeah,
did. What I like the most about I like the switch up from when it get to Joey, the fire at the Auto Mine. I thought that song was bonkers.
oh yeah,
I
man, that was
I play that
insane.
all the time off out of a whole album. And
It's
then
insane.
I love the Currency track. I love how mellow it is, and I like how because that's how Currency normally does his music. And I love how Rome Streetz kind of met that and then
Yeah,
put his own twist to it. And it was more trap than I thought it was gonna be because I know he's very lyrical.
boom bap rap.
Yeah, he's that New York type vibes, old school hood hip hop type vibes, but he's still rapping his butt off. I enjoyed this. I did. I did enjoy this because he didn't bore me. Like where some hip hop albums, it's an authentic hip hop, but sometimes it's like, okay, I know you're gonna give me boom pap. I know you're gonna say
Yeah,
certain things. I know the hook is gonna be this way. There's a formula to this. But with this, I didn't get bored. I played it straight through. I played straight through twice, and I was like, okay. The first time I was like, okay, this is nice little, all right. And then I played in a different mode. I played it first thing in the morning this morning, and I was gonna see if it hit the same. It definitely hit the
definitely.
same.
I was thinking
So
about this though. This is just a random thought. Rome Streetz to me comes across as one of those guys. Like if he was walking down the sidewalk and there was a cipher, a random cipher freestyle, I feel as though Rome Streetz would go in and try to freestyle as well. He comes
I
across as
think
one of
so.
those guys to me who, like to you, who like who else would you put in that just rappers in your mind that if there was a cipher and a freestyle, they're walking down the sidewalk, they would join and be like, hey, I'm a freestyle too. Like
Yeah, young, old, it doesn't matter.
just a mix, yeah.
Um, ASAP Rocky.
Yeah, he would.
He freestyles all the freaking time. I know a lot of people go Most Def, Yazin Bey.
He would. He would.
He was stop. He freestyle. He used to freestyle all the time. Ooh, no, not didn't. Nah, he don't freestyle most of the time. Ooh, Corday. I think Corday would want
Yeah,
to
Cardi would.
freestyle.
Nas.
Oh, thank you. Nas would definitely.
He loved that.
Common's another one.
Common would kill that.
Common
Common would
does it
kill
all
that.
the time.
Common would kill that.
But now it's hard to this new group of rappers. They're not gonna get up there or stop somebody freestyle. They're not gonna freestyle. But those definitely.
For
I
sure.
think. I think. Oh my goodness, JID. I think
Oh yeah.
he'll
Jib would do that.
get up in there because
He would be confident. Super confident.
I've seen him freestyle, and it's just like effortless. He was just literally him and Black is another. Black is another one who will freestyle with you too. But nah, he was just in there rolling something that he ain't supposed to roll, and he was just eyes closed and just start freestyling, and he was killing it. Eyes closed and all, just feeling it. And then obviously,
Black Thought. I think Black Thought would do it.
Yes, so underrated.
Yeah, so underrated, man.
Oh my goodness, Black Thought is so underrated. That boy be spitting.
For sure.
Him and he was part of Tribe Quest. He had his own podcast. He got his own podcast. He be having everybody on there. He's with Tribe Quest. Talib Kweli.
Yeah.
Oh, he another one to get, but okay, I think
Fonte from Little Brotherhood. He's one of the best. I think he's one of the best rappers.
Yes, he would.
Fonte's catalog is crazy, man. Fonte is so.
Yes, he would. Fonte he checked the box.
He can sing too. I was telling Jamil like that's unfair.
Yeah. But he checked all the boxes.
He checks all the boxes.
That's why he was successful by himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And now getting into our next review with Madison Ryann Ward's A New Thing. In her debut album, the singer stays in her R&B genre throughout this project. It works well with her rich tone. There's an edginess and confidence in it. She's been linked with just so many industries, Christian, CHH, and R&B. And this was just such a good mix of songs. It was 22 songs, but it really flowed well because, some of these songs were like only 2 minutes. It wasn't like one of those even though it was a longer project, it wasn't like a drawn out one where it just dragged. I thought it was sequenced so well. She's just different to me. Her tone is different. She flows with this type of instrumentation so nicely. So what did you kind of think about this project and just like her early start to her career?
Beautiful voice. She's a mixture. She has the right pitch. It's not too deep. It's not too high. She has range, but I love her consistent, steady pitch on songs. Yeah. And I really thought I saved the whole entire thing. That's how you know you like it. I listened to every track, and it was similar to what's her name who sounds like Sade?
Naomi Sharon?
Yes. I listened to her whole album straight through. I don't skip it. It's certain songs I like more than other songs, but I would not dare disrespect the entirety of that album because it was so beautiful. And I think this is on the same level because, man. And you said you got put on.
I got put on. Yeah.
I love her voice. And then I love the name, A New Thing. It's kind of like a spring. I love the cover art. And I love that she uses, I hope that's her full name, Madison Ryann Ward. I just like her whole thing. And then she's with Zelda House Records. You gotta love it. But no, she checks boxes. She has a bright future. And she's a beautiful girl. Beautiful, beautiful girl. So she checks boxes. I see why she got signed. She has a beautiful voice. She has potential. She has a versatility. Yeah, she's going to be around for a long, long time.
Another segment I wanted to add to the show. If you were this artist A&R, what would you tell them? So if you were Madison Ryann Ward's A&R, what would you tell her?
Bro, that's first of all, phenomenal addition to the music topics. I would tell her to continue to build her sound. And we have to find what her audience is. Obviously, we got to look through the numbers, what state, what are demographics, what it is. But you have to find your own sound. I think she doesn't sound commercial just yet. And as an AR, I don't want her to be commercial because I think she can have that distinguished sound of her own. Because her voice, I don't think she sounds like anybody else, but having that own signature sound. That's what I'll be working towards as an AR. Finding her demographics, finding her who really loves her music, and then telling her to stay true to what she's doing. I haven't listened to her old music, but if I was A&R, I would want her to. She would be like, the Cleo Soul.
Oh yes,
she would be my Cleo Soul. She would be out. Do not change.
Don't change at all. Don't try to become commercial.
Yes, the audience,
your wheelhouse.
Your fans, your wheelhouse, your audience will come. Just stay consistent with this. I'll do the rest.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, she
perfect.
has a beautiful voice.
Definitely. And now getting to our last.
I like that, Wellington. That's dope,
I was
bro.
thinking about that because I was like, man, I feel as though because we talk about it
That's dope.
so much, like just what would be like our like recommendations and
Oh,
our opinions. Yeah.
I'll throw you another one, bro. As an A&R, which song on the album will you drop as a single? If we let's get to it. If we go through it, let's get to it.
Let's get to it, man. Because man,
Because that's a dope, bro. That's so dope. I've never heard any other podcast do that. Wellington, come on now, brother. Come on, brother. But yeah, I know it's a
Forever
lot of
Now.
songs.
I like Forever Now. You hear that? Come on, man. Come on, man.
Yes.
I can see
Okay,
that spring.
A&R.
Hey, man.
Okay,
Hey,
A&R.
we here to set things straight in 2020.
Yeah.
To
Full
me, I
Scope
think when I hear that,
Podcast. No, that's a single
that's
song.
yes.
That's a single song. You got the ear for music. Wellington, you know that. I never question that, brother.
Is there a
That's
particular one?
dope.
Is there a particular one you would pick?
That
That
one.
one? Yeah, yeah.
That one stood out the most when it first came on. Like the first 5 songs, I was like, okay, these cool. And then that one just really, and then it gets to it, and then you just vibe after
Yes,
that. You're just in a trance. But now, Forever Now is definitely a single song.
bro. Such a good song. Such a good song.
Wellington with the perfect pick, man.
And I'll get into our last review of the Russ Said It freestyle. In this track, Russ is really an open book throughout. He discusses working on personal growth and staying true to himself over a cold and moody instrumental. And I thought, man, Russ is one of those artists. He's such an interesting artist because many times he can go into just a rapping
Excuse me.
back, and then other times can be more melodic. And even when I first heard the snippet of it, it was just one I was drawn to because that instrumental, and I like everything he was saying in it. I thought it was just one of those, it's more of like that album type feel, but it's just like one of those deep cuts, like later in the project, before you're about to get to the outro. How did you kind of feel about this song and what he put together in it?
I think he was flowing, bro.
Yes.
I think what he was talking about was really dope. And it has some substance to it. And I think when he just raps, I
So
think
good.
he's so good. Obviously, he can do the catchy hook songs, the low key pop songs, but when he
Yeah.
really raps,
Oh,
bro,
no, it's crazy.
we forget that he can because he does those type of songs. But that one album, I can't remember the name of it.
Chomp
Is it
2.
Chomp?
Chomp
Chomp
2.
2, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Boy, I have never been that impressed with Russ. And I'm like, bro, why are you doing? I understand why you're doing those type of tracks, but this is where you should be. And every time he does a freestyle, I'm always glued in because his pen is really certified.
Yeah.
Don't think Russ is just one of those pop hook writing rappers. No, boy got bars. Boy will get busy with the pen, but I really enjoy this. He was talking some real stuff too.
Definitely. And I
Yeah,
just want to say
he's
that
legit.
the clip, the Most Def Drake clip, man, the commenters had things to say. The commenters had things to say, like, you guys are Drake haters. I was like, first of all, we're definitely not. We're definitely. Well, how did we even
We didn't
say
say
we
anything
never said
about.
that. Other people
We
said.
just put it in perspective.
Then other people said, you guys can't say he's one of the best rappers ever. It was a mixed bag because people are going to have their own different. And I'm like,
It's
first of all, he
interesting.
definitely is. He definitely is one of the best rappers we ever had. I think Most Def still, he's got to be respected too. Because Most
Yeah,
Def,
for
I mean,
sure.
singing
Man,
and rapping, Drake opened up for Most Def in '06. So I mean, like that was a guy he wanted to look up to.
how did you feel about his response? Drake's response. That he used Most Def lyrics in a Instagram story.
Oh,
I'm surprised
I
you.
did see
Yeah,
that.
I'm surprised, yeah.
I did
I
see
didn't
that.
think it was no shot or anything.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a shot or anything. I heard Peter Rosenberg say. Peter Rosenberg put it perfectly. He was like, I think out of all the people that could have said something in a different tone, like when he was saying the skews and all that. I think that's probably where Drake took it a little personal, just because like Most is probably someone he probably has in high esteem. So I think the only person that probably would take a little personal is Drake because he's like, man, growing up, I did just want to be a rapper. I had to become a different type of artist because of all the commercial ties I have. So I think that's more so what it was.
Yeah.
But I did expect to hear some type of response from Drake.
Yeah.
I just hate that. I say that they can't be on the same page about things, as I know they had such an admiration for each other when things just started off.
And again, I don't think it was a diss. If at the skews, I don't think the skews part was a diss. It was just an added joke to them Target thing. But
It did feel like he had a little haze. It did feel like he added a little extra sauce to it, man. I'm just saying, the more I look at that clip,
didn't say it though. She said it. She said that's a lot of skews.
That's a setup.
So obviously, you're on the show. You're vibing out. You're gonna be like how we say for all the dogs. Like that's,
we just go along with it.
Yeah, just go along with it. I think Mos Def understands what Drake is, and again, I don't think he was dissing Drake. I just think in that time, if you were hip hop, you break dance and all these things, you wasn't doing other genres and saying you were this. I think that's what he was trying to portray in so many words. I do think Mos Def thinks Drake is a phenomenal artist, but he's just not stamped hip hop. That's it. People always blow it out of proportion. And when you said it was gonna go crazy, you said it was people was gonna go crazy about it. And
I knew. Yeah. It's so funny. It's so funny because we literally talked about it the day of. Like we were supposed to. We didn't even know it was gonna happen. We just literally the day it happened, we happened to record, and I was like, hey, I didn't mind it being that day.
Right. And then he was like, man, people are gonna take it out of proportion. They're gonna do like, and that's exactly what they did. Cool. And people talking about who is Mos Def, who's Yazzie Bey, bro. Y'all don't know hip hop. That's why y'all don't know hip hop. Boy, Mos Def, man, come on, Black Star.
I was re-listening to Black on Both Sides. I was re-listening to his catalog this past weekend, man. Dude is nice. Now, I will say this before we go to break, man. I'm never gonna forget in that music video with Alicia Keys, that man ordered a fish special and some hot chocolate.
Boy, bowels is over with.
Somebody said, of course he can't remember your name. Man's stomach was on fire.
Who orders that with a hot cocoa, bro? Was it New York?
Yeah, and she looked at him like, hot chocolate? She had to ask him. What do I want to wash this down with? Nah, chocolate.
Hot chocolate on all things. Boy gonna be on the toilet before he get to work.
Somebody said he couldn't go back to work.
Where you work at, sir? Hope you don't work construction. Yo, man, bro. That porta potty is through, man.
We're gonna be right back. We're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna do a review of Friday Night Lights.